Welcome to the first episode of Spurs Tavern Talk. And I'm excited. Uh, we don't have a theme song yet. It's okay. We wanted to get to the heart of the matter, the issues, and that is transfer talk. My first ever guest is an honor to have Mr. Iggy. You know him from Tottenham Away. Iggy, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you, man? Thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure.
Oh, thank you, and definitely an honor. And of course, as you know, our team it's beautiful. It's Bella. It's an Italian club, and we got Partici, we got Conte, and of course, since we have those two, it's natural that we will be linked to a lot of Serie A players, and I've always um, loved watching that league. I have a soft spot for Napoli because of Diego Maradona, and so my dad raised me to root for the Argentinian national team. So, and of course, Maradona is one of, as a kid growing up, I adored. And when I stayed in Italy for 6 weeks. I stayed a bit of a time in Napoli, and so
Nice.
saw all the shrines to Diego Maradona. I know the history, even though the controversy. When the Italian national team, he wanted people from the south to root for Argentina because
I
the
remember it well.
independence. Yeah, I remember that the independence of I think 1990 between North and South. If you ever been to Italy, there is a difference, but it's the same in the United States. I mean, you go to North, you go to South, but definitely there is, you know, there was some deep seated,
Yeah.
and the running joke, Iggy, correct me if I'm wrong. Everybody else in the country hates Juventus. It's Juventus versus everybody else. Um,
Only
and
Juventus fans like Juventus. Everyone else hates them. So
yeah, and so Syria, it's a. I'm glad it's back. I think, in my opinion, got into debate. I think it's the second strongest behind the Premier League. La Liga, I feel, has gone down a notch. They've lost, of course, Messi and Ronaldo and stuff. Um, I think it's gone down a notch. Bundesliga's a good league. I just think Serie A right now it's better, and it's a good sign. Though I know financially some teams are still trying to build themselves up, but
yeah,
um, but yeah, and so and that's what we got Iggy, who loves Syria. He's an
I do.
expert. Tell him your background of the Syria, Iggy.
Between myself and this, I mean, I've always watched Italian football. For those viewers to the UK, will probably remember Football Italia. There was a show that used to be run here in the early '90s, when players like Paul Gascoigne, David Platt, and Des Walker, all English players that went and played abroad. Then it became massively televised. We had a show on a Saturday. We had the matches. Always had a match on a Sunday afternoon, and it was at the height of Italian football in the early '90s. Was considered as what the Premier League is today. All the best players went to Italy. And it was at the same time when I was a young kid and getting into it. So I fell in love with Italian football then. Obviously, my team is no secret. My Italian team is AC Milan. I fell in love with that AC Milan team when Ruud Gullit. I was absolutely fascinated with Ruud Gullit from Euro '88. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
a bit older than you here, Mari, but if you
I
remember
remember
that
him. I
that
remember
Dutch
his
team,
hair.
that Dutch team in '88 was amazing, and that's when I really started following. That was actually probably more than the Italian team. I fell in love with the Dutch team at that time. With
Yeah,
obviously the three playing in AC Milan, it was a no-brainer for me to follow them.
yeah.
And then it was only once from there, from that time in the late '80s when I moved in England, I started having so I needed to find a new team, and of course Tottenham were 5 minutes, 5 minute drive from my house at the time, and so that became that's my link with Spurs, as is with Milan. So they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but Italian football has always been a big part of my. It also keeps me close to my motherland, so it gets me. I follow. I've always followed the Italian football. There's been highs, there's been lows, there's been flats. But you're right, what you say. I think Italian football right now is coming back, and it's it's not like a two horse street like it has been for many years in Spain. I know Atletico Madrid is coming into the equation, but for many years it was Barcelona, Real Madrid. Now in Germany, it's very much Bayern Munich and Dortmund. In England, we know there's a massive difference past the two. The two horse, it's been two horse race for now the gap's slightly building between the top two, three teams compared to the rest of them. But I think in Italy you have possibly four or five teams that any of them can win
I
the
mean,
Serie A.
and even the Lazio, the Florentina, they're right behind.
Yeah,
They're no joke.
it's quite open.
Yeah.
Not all games are great. Don't get me wrong. I know that, not, but I think all the ones that have been televised here in England and in BT Sport
Mhm.
have been really good showing, and you guaranteed games to watch now, evening games, and I'm thoroughly enjoying watching and learning and seeing what potential players are out there that could perhaps come to England and to our very Tottenham, of course.
Yeah, I would say this: the team that was makes us Spurs fans enc- encouraging, so that I've seen Inter Milan,
Yeah,
and yes, Conte's not there, but that is Conte's style.
yeah,
What I forgot the guy's name. What he's doing, and it's like a well-oiled machine.
yeah.
Like I watched him play against Roma, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
whoa!
the
But
Inter Milan manager now,
yeah, he
Simone
is.
Inzaghi. Simone Inzaghi.
Inzaghi, he's playing Conte's style. Like I'm watching him, and because I've looked at Conte's team last year, is
Yeah,
basically Conte's gone, but they still it's the remnants of
yeah.
Conte
Yeah,
still.
the players are the same. The only difference, of course, is obviously, as you know, they had to sell. Remember last season, they had to sell, which is the reason why Conte
Lukaku,
left Inter Milan.
yeah,
After they won the league, they said they'll be selling. They needed to bring some funds in, and their best players, or those who were in the market which had most value, which was, of course, were Lukaku, Hakimi. They got rid of them. And once that happened, as Conte, as he did previously at Juventus, once don't show the same ambition that he has anymore, for whatever the reason, he's out.
yeah,
So they sold Lukaku, got money for him. They sold Hakimi, who they replaced them both with a veteran, as we all know very well. Zeko. Zeko went
Echo.
to replace Lukaku, and Dumfries, who we was linked with,
Oh,
12 million, Mari, 12 million they got him for. They sold
yeah,
they sold Hakimi at premium price and replaced him. And I mean, you was a massive fan. I remember you crying out for him. I remember Stelios crying out for him. And he was only bought for 12 million euros, not even
yeah,
pounds. And that
uh,
was their replacement. They moved early and got him. We didn't, and it's
yeah.
such a shame because I think it would have been a worthy win
Oh,
back
would have been
for us
perfect
now.
for us. Perfect for us. I was just
But
like,
yeah, you're right when you say that the team is pretty much the same, and he's added a little bit more attacking flair, so to speak. They're a little bit more free flowing than probably where they were with Conte. But you're right, with the exception of those two players we mentioned, Ericsson, we know fully well what happened to him. They brought Chanaloglu on for free, but they're pretty much the same setup as they were last year. Why not keep a winning setup, Mari? Why not?
yeah, yeah. And so we get to the players as the viewers are watching, and so let's start with one. This is a player
I
right
can
here,
imagine.
a player that we all fall in love with because we play against Ajax, and we brought them heartbreak. And his career, I would say, hasn't really. And like I say, you're gonna probably correct me if I'm wrong a lot. I would say that his uh,
I think he's gone off air, guys, by mistake. I think he pressed the wrong button. But whilst we wait for him to come back on, Delict, what do I think of him personally is that he made the wrong move. I don't think Juventus was the right move for him. I think there was many teams that were a better suit for him. But for me personally, Juve wasn't the right fit for him. A lot of those Ajax players that Mario was rightfully saying, De Jong, Delict himself, and there was one or two others. Their moves haven't ended up being all that, and for me, they were better off staying with Ajax a couple of more seasons because they all left at a really young age to go and look for the big money move or the big club, and I just thought they were too early. That's all right, Mario. I was just talking on
I kicked
about
myself
yeah,
out.
you kicked yourself out. No, I was just basically touching upon
Yeah,
Matthias de Ligt. And to be honest with you, all those players that you mentioned in the Ajax team, we can mention De Jong, Van der Beek, they all went on and moved for the big move, not necessarily looking into the team that they were actually heading off to, if they were the right fit for them or not. We
yeah,
know what's happened to Van der Beek. De Jong has kind of been here and there. And obviously, this guy here that we you bring up to the screen, Delict hasn't been quite the move that needed to happen. For me, it was the wrong fit. I think all these Ajax players should have stayed another couple of seasons with that
yeah,
team. I think they would have blossomed, potentially gone to do even more better in Europe because they were unlucky. Listen, I have no problem with saying they were unlucky for that team to not stay together because even after they went out to us, I think the following season in Europe they could have gone on to do even better things.
yeah.
And I think like many of those players, including Delict, it hasn't quite worked out for them at Juventus. I think he's become a better defender all round because if you want to learn your craft, there's no better place than Serie A to learn to become a better defender.
Competitive defender. Yeah,
So I
and
think
so
that was his mindset for him to go there, was to work with Chiellini and Bonucci and those sort of players to become better himself. But for some reason or another, and I can't explain it, he just hasn't quite taken off, like you say, to a higher grades.
yeah, and so here's the question now on Spurs. Would he be a good match, and what tools does he bring to our center backs that we would definitely love and enjoy? I would, you know, I know he's good in the air, and I
Yeah.
know his passing efficiency would be tops on our club. So
Mate, you put this guy alongside Romero, you've just improved our defense tenfold. He would improve our defense massively. He has all the attributes. He has the strength, he has the height, he has the power. Um, he's very good on the ball. His distribution from the back is also very good.
yeah,
For me, this guy would improve us tenfold. But my question will be: is the price? How the price that this guy has? I don't know if our board first and foremost. I know Conte would probably have him. I'm pretty certain that he would. He would fit well in the back four. He would fit well in the back three. He would be awesome. He really would be an awesome signing. But I just don't know if the price is a little bit out of our range. And I don't think right now he's a priority. Although we need to bolster our defense, I don't think he is the priority right now. That's how
okay.
much I think we have other positions that we need to prioritize first and foremost. Because, like I said, he'd cost an arm and a leg. He'd cost too much. We'd
Mm.
probably blow a whole transfer on him.
Oh wow, Juventus. You think
Honestly,
Juventus will what
I,
75, 80?
I think he would cost a lot, and I just think we have other players like the creativity positions in the middle of the park. Um, I think we all feel that Conte feels that we need something else on the right hand side. I don't think Emerson fits that bill. I don't think that's my feeling. I don't think Emerson fits that bill. And this is one of the guys that you're going to bring up later. Is been he's been spoken about. I won't reveal him just yet. We'll touch upon him. I know you touched upon him, but we'll talk about that afterwards. And of course, the striker is the other area that we need to prioritize.
Yeah,
So I don't. This is why I don't think, given the money that he would cost, I don't think he would be up there as a priority. But if you ask me if I would put him alongside Romero, I'll say to you all day long, brother, all day
yeah,
long.
yeah. Because Scott brings up a good point. I mean, if we shell the money for him, I mean, literally, it will solidify us for five
God,
plus years. if we get this kid, and it's mighty enticing to pay that price.
Yeah.
Um, but Juventus, are they? I know they want to sell, but are they desperately wanting to sell? Is it? Are they financially?
Right. I think they need to sell. I think the Juventus right now, their main priority is to get a number nine, a striker. They want Vlahovic, which is another player that I think a lot of teams, sorry, in Europe want. They want to get him first, but in order for him to go there, they need to sell, and because they don't have the money to spend all on the player, they don't have the money to go and purchase him. So they need to get rid of a couple of players, I reckon, and two of the players that you've already put up there, I think those will be the more
Realistic.
the more likely to. But yeah, you can bring them up by all means.
Yeah.
One of them I think is McKennie, and the other one is Kulusevski. Now, I think what they're trying to do is sell these guys as a tandem. They're trying to say, and I think if Spurs are likely to get both, which is a good possibility that they can get both because they both fit in an area that we need at Spurs. McKennie would provide that midfield box to box that we currently don't have, and Kulusevski on a right forward would provide, or in that number 10 area or in an attacking play, would provide us something else that we currently don't have. To sell these two players, they're looking around 60 million euros or pounds, around that sort of region. That is the money that they would recoup and use to go and get the player that they actually want, Vlahovic. Now,
Mm.
if we
So
give
we
them,
help them out.
yeah, if we give them the money to go and get Vlahovic, that kills our chances of getting Vlahovic ourselves. So these next moves are going to be very interesting as to that how it unfolds. I think Fiorentina personally will try and keep Vlahovic to the end of the season because I think Fiorentina right now need him. And as you were rightly saying earlier on, Fiorentina are doing well at the moment. So imagine depriving yourself of a centre forward who has scored 33, 34 goals in one single year, which is currently beat Ronaldo's record in 1 year, scoring that many goals. To
Yeah.
deprive yourself of that would be massive for Fiorentina. But anyone, as you know, at the right price, anyone can be got. So it'd be interesting if Spurs go and try and get those two players. We'll be the ones actually providing Juve the money to go and get one of our other targets, which to me, Vlahovic,
Whew. He's the truth.
anyone signed him really changes their season. I really do.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get to him. Dre has a good question. I
Yeah,
know it's not defender, but he wants to
midfield.
know
Yeah,
how's Locatelli has been doing. He'd be a perfect deep line player. Locatelli just joined Juventus,
yeah.
so
He just joined them from Sassuolo in the summer.
yeah. How's
Hey,
he doing? I've seen a
listen,
few games.
he's doing well. For me
Yeah.
personally, Dre, I'll be honest with you. I think he's overrated. I think he's overrated. I think he was someone that he was on Juve's. He had a good season at Sassuolo. He came to light in the Euros, and that's what prompted Juve to get him. But
Mm.
he's great to have in a team. Would I bring him into a Spurs team, given what we currently have in Skip, in Højbjerg, and players of that similarity? That I'd keep my own. I don't think he would be a priority to have in my team when I already have Skip and Højbjerg there, if that makes sense. I think
Mm.
I would be more prone to going to somebody more like the likes of perhaps like Kessie. He'd probably be or McKennie, something different than a deep line playmaker. We'd be looking for someone like a box to box. What
Box
Delhi
to
used to
box.
be, yeah,
Yeah.
Delhi used to be for us, or what Ndombele has failed to be with us. You
Yeah.
know, those are the kind of players, identikit that I'll be looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. So the next play that comes up, um, I think it's still a long shot because I cannot see Inter in
Yeah,
the state they are in now getting rid
Well,
of this guy, Milan Skriniar,
yeah, good,
who is one of the best defenders in Serie A, one of the
for sure.
defenders in Europe, and but we're always forever linked. And
Yeah.
so, t- tell me about the player.
Mari, this guy is everything that you can ask for and more as a defender. And I would probably put I would use even the Vrij so because I think these guys as a tandem have been as good as Toby and Alderweireld have been for us at Spurs. I think they're a great tandem, and if Inter still today have a very good defensive record, a lot of them is a lot of it is down to this guy here and the other two that play alongside him, De Vrij and Bastoni. Um, they've made an absolute brilliant trio at the back for Inter, and the only this is the only thing that leaves things a little bit open for me. Both Skriniar and De Vrij contract both expire in 2023.
Hmm.
Now they are after a new contract, of course, and I think if they were given what they hope for, they would sign tomorrow. I believe that. I think both of them are quite loyal players, and they would sign for Inter to stay on even further. But this contract has been stalling and stalling. I think what's happening in the background is that Inter Milan, as you know, have had a few financial situations. They've had
Hmm.
ownership. You know, the Chinese have,
Japanese, no
no,
Chinese owners,
China,
China.
and they've had their situation where the money can't come out of China. They could have to let go any overseas, um, you know, businesses that they have, and Inter being one of them. They can't. There's a load, lots going on there. So I think Inter Milan are stalling and waiting and seeing if they firstly can give them what they want because they need to reevaluate things. Obviously, due to the pandemic and no fans at the stadium, they're stalling. So I think what would happen is that they will wait till the summer to see whether they keep or they sell. So I don't think these guys, I don't think they're out of our reach. I think it'll be a question whether we just wait in the summer to see first of all
To the
what's
summer.
going on in Inter Milan's house before then we can choose. But I think personally speaking, Mari, I think we missed the boat with this guy. We had an
Yeah,
opportunity, we had a window, a very small window open when they were selling their best players, like we said earlier. Lukaku, Hakimi. This guy was one of them. We could have got him. I really believe that if we upped the
yeah,
money, we would have got him in house. But of course, as we do,
yeah.
another target missed. But
Rodin, we
we,
got
we
Rodin instead.
yeah, I would say keep this one here on the back burner. Let's just see what happens because he hasn't signed the new contract yet,
Yeah.
and it expires in 2023. That's factual. That's facts.
Before we go to the next player, I will bring up this player. So many Serie A players. I forgot to mention this player, Bremer, Spurs 72. Thank you. I did not
Yeah,
add Bremer. They won't let him go now. We should have got him last year. What about the Bremer guy at Torino? Tell me
he's been
about.
s- he's been spoken about very well, Mari. He's been spoken about very well, and I think if Torino get an offer they can't refuse, I think they would let him go. I know AC Milan have been linked to him because recently they've lost Simon Kier to the end of the season because he done his knee in.
Yeah.
So he's out for the rest of the season. So I know that they are looking for cover. So it's between this guy here, Bremen, that they're keeping an eye on, and Botman from he plays for, I believe it's plays for Lille.
Is he
He's got
left-footed? What I mean, which side of the defense does he play?
I think he plays left-sided. I'm going by memory now. I think he plays left-sided of the four at the back, but he can play in the three as well. Um, but to be honest with you, he'd be comfortable to play both sides. But I think he prefers the left side. But
Okay.
he's spoken very well about. It's just a question as always with these players that are not internationally, haven't got a huge name. If they can adapt to the Premier League and how quickly they can adapt in the Premier League. But he's spoken about very well. So yeah, definitely keep your ears and nose and everything open for him because you
Yeah,
never
his
know.
Spurs 72 say he's left foot, which is good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I said a left-sided player. I went by memory with that one. So yeah, he definitely He definitely prefers the left side. I've seen him play on the right side, but maybe he could have been just covering somebody that was injured. But I remember him preferring the left sided more. But yeah,
So
he'd be great for Davis. Someone replacement for Davis. Why not?
yeah, competition right there. Actually, not competition. Davies would be coming from the bench. What am I talking about? Not competition. I mean, Davies is, of course, he's improving, but but we still need an upgrade, and
Yeah.
so yeah, he would come to have Davies come off the bench would be good. It will show at least some depth. So we have his partner, um,
Stefan De
Skinniar's
Vrij, yeah.
Stefan de Vrij. What does he bring? What does he offer for our club? Is he a good fit for Tottenham?
Listen, like I said for Skriniar, these guys are internationals. They're playing at the highest level. They're just champions of Serie A. They're still in the champions. They're playing Champions League football. They're challenging for Serie A again. These guys, and if they have a mean defense, like I said for Skriniar, a lot of the credit goes to these three guys: De Vrij, Bastoni, and Skriniar. This guy plays in the center of the three.
Mhm.
So for us, he'll be playing exactly where Eric Dyer is currently playing now. And although Eric Dyer, to his due, he's been playing very well. I think Conte has put him in a situation where he can shine more, limit the mistakes that he makes, although you cannot eradicate them. That's
Mhm.
just in the player. But it shows Eric in a better light in that back three. But this guy here, if you could get this guy, same as for Skriniar, if you can get either of the two, if you can get them both, it would be like just having like Toby and Jan back at White Hart Lane. It really would. I'll put them alongside them on how much our defense would improve with these two guys, or even one of them just coming on board.
Yeah,
I truly, truly rate this guy. Really good quality player.
and also just seeing the clips is also efficient. Playing from the back, passing, which we need. As like I said, Dyer's you know really improved, but there was this one sequence that Dyer that turnover. What was it? Was it the West Ham game where he
Yeah,
passed it in the
that ball was for Kane. We could see what he tried to do. That ball was for Kane. The
yeah,
problem that he did there was not getting a bit of height on it. He played it on the floor, and of course, he had a lot of bodies on the West Ham. But if you actually watch that back, Mari,
yeah,
it's just one or two steps back. It was actually Lloris that put him in that
yeah,
situation. He shouldn't have put him in that situation.
yeah,
Lloris should have just done, he should have gone long. If we're getting pressed outside your box, as a goalkeeper, you got to go either forward and aim for your striker, or you got to hit the wings. You cannot play it outside your box. So it didn't adapt. As yes, Eric made the technical error, but if you actually look at, he should never have been put in that
Lloris didn't do
situation. That's
Lloris
all.
didn't
That's
do
all.
many favors.
But you're right. It's
Yeah,
in him. And I agree. One of the comments had been said. The Bry has to play in the centre of the three because he's not. He's not. You're right. You're right, Dre. He's not the quickest. But the whole point of getting these players to play in a position where it brings up the qualities and doesn't show up the weaknesses, and that's what good managers do. And this is what Conte is doing with. How you doing, Mr. K? This is what Conte is doing with Spurs. He's showing players in a good light. He's not exposing their weaknesses, which is what's often happened in the past.
yeah, no, 100%, and that's what makes Conte like light years better than what we've had last couple of years because he puts players in positions.
Yeah.
We see a renaissance with Winks. What's going on there? It's yeah, uh,
You know what? In regards to Winks, and I'm glad you bring him up. With what, and I've said this on our show on Tottenham Away. I said since Conte's come in, have you noticed that Winks is playing more vertical passes than I've ever seen him play before?
yeah,
He's playing
yeah.
a lot of forward passes. He's
It's his
getting
punch.
assists. He's getting assists. He's putting Son and Kane in front of goal. So it makes me think because up until that point, I also think why is this guy always playing sideways, 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 and now all of a sudden he's playing forwards and vertical balls more so than he does sideways. It makes me question: was it the manager that was he was being told by the manager to play in that well? Is it maybe the manager that now is giving him the confidence to say, go forward, get the pass,
Mm.
go forward, and he's now doing it? The the difference is though between what we had previously and what we have now in
Good
Winks
management,
is
good
yeah,
tactician.
it's
Yeah,
night and day. And maybe Murray, it might be a simple thing. It's just saying, Winks, I want you to play those forward ball. I don't care if you make a mistake. I don't care if it doesn't go to the where you want it to go, but keep doing it. I have faith in you. I'm asking you to do it. I want you to do it. Keep doing it. And sometimes, Murray, that's all a player needs to hear.
yeah, 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 and then it is definitely working so far. It's definitely working, and it goes to show, man, when you have a good tactician, a good manager, it could make the difference with certain players, with certain players.
A-
So then
And I'll
that's. Mhm.
sorry, and I would also agree with Stelios on this. And don't tell him I said so. Yeah, don't tell him I said so. But I would agree when he says that Winks should be playing a little bit further up the pitch and not in that deep line midfield
Mhm.
where Højbjerg and Skip play. He should be playing further up, which will free him up from defensive duties and actually provide the balls that we need in that area. But I say it very quietly. Don't tell Stelios.
I won't. I definitely won't. But I know he's watching because I told him about the show.
Oh God, that one's gone. How you doing,
Nikol-
sir?
Nikola Milinkovic of Florentina.
Solid, solid player. He's been sought after for a long, long time, and his contract was coming up to expiry, but it died there and then because he signed a new contract because he tried to do the right thing with Fiorentina to say, if you allow me to go, I will sign a new contract on a promise, similar to what Jack Grealish did with Aston Villa. I will
Mhm.
sign a new contract on a promise that you will let me go at the right price. Now it just remains to be seen if that right price will be met by any club that Fiorentina are asking for. But another one, he's a very, very good, solid defender. And he would improve in our team in particular.
And
He
he is
would
pretty
improve
good
my
in the air too.
very good. I just feel though, in regarding to this guy here, I think where he plays right centre of the back three at Fiorentina, I believe, we are covered with Romero. I think that's the role that Romero's covered. So I don't
Mm.
think he will be a list of our priority. I could be wrong, but I think we're covered there with that sort of player. So I don't see us, like I said, I don't see us going for this guy.
Okay. So our next person that we have up is we're going out on the wing.
Manuel
Um,
Lazzari.
Lazari.
Yeah,
Now he's a bit older, but he will definitely. Um, it's weird because, like I said, I'm torn about Emerson and people saying to be patient, but having a Lazari, if you don't want to go for Trippier,
yeah,
would bring some very safe cover for a
yeah.
guy who could be solid. So tell us more about Lazari for Lazio.
Um, right. Lazzari is somebody. Right. This is where I'm at with it. Characteristically wise, for those who don't know him well enough or don't know exactly, he's very has the energy and not just the energy physically as a player has a lot of energy, and he's one that always go forward. So characteristically, I'm not saying he's exactly the same player as this guy is, Spinazzola, who was on the left hand side. For those who watch Spinazzola on the Euros, would know that that guy just loved going forward. He had the
Yeah,
super energy,
yeah,
up and down for the whole game. So he has that kind of energy, but he plays on the right hand side. He was an ex right winger who now plays a wing back. This guy is a player that Conte knows very, very well, very well. Um, so this is where I think this is a good possibility that it could happen. The only thing that stops me thinking that he would come for now is that the fact that on that right hand side, we still have Emerson, as you rightly mentioned. We have Doherty. We have Tanganga that can also play there, although we know he's not a wing back. but
Mhm.
we have a lot of cover there. I think for this guy to come, at least one of those. Well, not Tanganga so much, but because he covers the centre, but at least one of those guys that we have currently there, Doherty perhaps, needs to ship him out. You need to get him out. You need to get
Yeah,
some money together to then fully go out for
have
this
to.
guy. So I believe this guy is a possibility. He's not seen eye to eye with Maurizio Sarri for whatever reason right now at Lazio. So this guy could be got, and he would be brilliant for us because this guy goes. When I say he goes, he goes. He provides better quality, and he's a very good finisher as well. Sometimes he goes on to finish moves that he starts from the back. He,
That's what we need.
so,
Yeah.
so so he's got an eye for goal, Amara. This guy has an eye for goal. So I think he would be good. He would be a very good addition for Conte, and it would actually be a player that this manager wants, not that he's found at Spurs, but he'll be the one that he's actually gone out and said, "Come to me." So I think that will work very well.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And I think now we get to the midfield, our midfielders, where we know at the state of our midfield, we need creativity, we need a really effective
Yeah,
box to box player. So these next couple plays are Serie A plays we're linked to. Um, I haven't seen much of Bologna, and but I've seen the clips of Matthias Sandberg, and his name is starting to pick up in around Europe.
talented boy. Yeah,
Um,
talented boy. Talented boy. Was he 21, 22 years old?
2021.
He's very tall, 185 maybe. I think 185,
Hmm.
190. Very
Is
good.
he a baby Ericsson in a way, or is he?
Listen, when I start comparing, when you say Ericsson and players like that, he's got a long way to go, but he has the potential to become a very, very, very good player in that position. He's talked about, but I think me personally, for him, and I'll say this because we just spoke about what happened to those Ajax young players. I will say for him to to stay either at Bologna or maybe just improve gradually to then, when he gets to the age of 24, 25, move on to a big team. And this is what the Ajax boys that we spoke about previously failed to do. They all look for the big move, and their careers kind of take a stalemate. I wouldn't want this for this guy because, like you said, he's making waves across Europe. And if you're good enough, you will go on to get your move, your bigger move. I just, for him right now, I would like him to stay where he is, improving his craft, and then get his move. But undoubtedly, this guy is a very, very good prospect. Very, very good prospect for the future. Do I think is what we need right now at Spurs? I don't know. I think we need somebody that's ready now, Murray. We have too many players that are ready for the future, but not many that are ready right now to
Mm.
hit the ground running. We need those kind of players as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And you even see now the rumors that the agents for Brian Hill are trying to offer him to Barcelona, which I will say this about Barcelona. If you're going to beat Barcelona, you're probably going to beat them now because those
Yeah.
young kids, Gavi and Pedri, like those kids. Remember Xavi and yes, when they were all babies.
Yeah.
Those kids are babies. When those guys get into their form, Barcelona is gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
But
I'm
Mario,
saying
don't
it.
you think it's really strange that somebody like Barcelona, although it's not the great Barcelona that we know, but it's still Barcelona,
Mhm.
are looking to get one of your players, Brian Hill, in? They've seen something in him that we clearly, as yet, need to still see.
Yeah, I know a couple people like, oh, those last 15 minutes that he came in. I thought he was effective, like trying to create like anything. Like he
Yeah.
had a nice header for Mr. Sonny at the end there. I think yes, he's young, but I think he has Barcelona talent, and that's something that is far and few to come by. And
Yeah.
so if anything, I would put him out on loan,
I
but
agree with
I,
that.
I would not get rid of Brian Hill. People like he's shit. I'm like, he's still a kid.
No,
Like,
no, no, no.
you cannot say Brian Hill is shit. Like this guy, other than Lucas, is the only one I think who can, because I think he should play in the middle. Me personally, I think he's the next David Silva. He's not afraid to go aggressive, even though he's a twig. Yes, he's gonna have to bulk up to go into the center. Attack the box. I think he would need to be loaned out, but I'm not wanting to get rid of him.
No, I agree. I would agree with that. I would say definitely on loan and definitely remain in England. To go on loan, but in England, not to go on loan abroad. I think that wouldn't do him any favours. I think he needs to adapt to English football very, very quickly. And he needs to play regularly because young kids, especially at that age, um, at 20, 21 years old, the best way of learning is playing. Let them make mistakes, let them learn, but let them play. And I think they take more from playing match than training. I think you can give young kids 100 training matches or 100 training sessions. It will not give him what he requires in the match. So let him play. So yes, Murray, I agree to let him go on loan, but let him stay in England. Somebody like I don't know, in Newcastle, Norwich, or those teams like mid-low
Leeds.
team, Leeds even, but just teams that would actually give him the time, the game time that he badly, badly, badly
The
needs.
confidence too. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you only get confidence by playing, Marvin. No other way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100% correct. So the next player we have coming up is
Oh, oh, this guy I know very, very well because, as you guys have just
yeah,
heard out, he plays for my Italian team.
yeah. And
Listen, mate, you love him. I know that. I'm gonna let you say what you want to say, and then I'll say my piece.
yeah, I must say this because someone wanted me to bring him up in a debate and whatsoever. The guy um has progressed at each level. The guy's like a wet sponge. The nicknames: the Tank Beast President, because he's a clubhouse leader, as you know, Iggy.
Of course.
The one stat I was looking at Sofa Score. His passing accuracy is average 93%. The guy can pass and build up, something that we desperately need. Like, need. Because people are like, okay, oh, he scores penalties, which is only half his goals. He scores outside the box. He has a shot outside the box. But what impresses me, the build up play,
Yeah.
which which it's like Dembele, Musa Dembele. But basically, what we've been missing, the guy, when it comes to his passive efficiency, not for 1 year, you're just looking at it's just amazing. And so, I know people are like, oh, well, we do we need to upgrade? I'm like, this guy, 100% yes. And so this guy is a beast. He's a Swiss Army knife. He will do what you want him to do. And he's respectable in the locker room, because I think we didn't do our research with Tenge and a couple of the guy is literally one of the captains of the team, AC Milan. That's what they call him. I just learned this. They call him the president.
Yes.
And so this guy, I would love to get him in January, but if we get him on a free for next season, I'm happy. Either way, I will throw it to Iggy because Iggy loves Milan. Tell us about Kessie.
Listen, the president, as you rightly called him, is first of all, let's go with his physical attributes. He's very
Very
strong
strong.
player. He can cover every blade of grass on the pitch. energy levels are on our next level stuff. This is just ridiculously like how far beyond he can play for 95 minutes, covering every bit of that ground. His best position is definitely in the 4-2-3-1, with him being one of the two in front of the defense. But he allows, it goes beyond that. He allows, for example, when you've got attacking fullbacks, which is what Milan currently have, he slots in and becomes the three at the back to protect the two defenders that are there, allowing the fullbacks to literally play as wingers for Milan. This is what this guy does. But of course, he's brilliant at getting in midfield, dictating play. He's also very good at attacking late in the box. The record you just said, you know, what you said about his passing, it's brilliant. Although we don't need him, he's a brilliant penalty kick taker. He would add that to your game. So if you came for whatever reason is not there to step up to take penalties, this guy's record is insane on penalties for a midfielder. Listen, leader, captain, definitely one of the a man's man in that changing room. You know, he's the kind of guy that would, because often this Spurs team has always been criticised for not having enough leaders or leader of men in the changing rooms, in the locker room. This guy would provide that. He would be that guy. I don't know right now if Milan would try and sell him on to get some money now,
Yeah,
and I'm not sure. I don't know, because trying to get a little bit of money now to then not to it may cause them more damage by not having him in the season. So I think Milan will opt to say, you know what, he can go on a free in the summer, but we'd rather have him for the next 6 months for their journey and what Milan's journey are doing, are challenging for the league, than say cover some money now and lose him completely from the off. So I don't know who would take his place right now for Milan in January. But also, there's the African Nations Cup right now in
yeah.
January. So they've all gone. He's gone.
To Ivory Coast, he has to go.
Yeah, a lot of the African players have gone to play for their respective nationalities. So he's now gone. So Milan have lost him for this for January. So signing him now will mean that if Ivory Coast go all the way, you're potentially not seeing him till mid-February. I don't
Yeah,
know how many teams would want to deal with that now and say, you know what, let's take our chances and go for him in the summer. But of course, he can sign a deal now to join the summer for free. He can speak to any club,
and the
and
rumors the same.
whoever offers him the money, because now it's all about that. It's all about giving him 9, 10 million, 7, 8, 9, 10 million euros a year, or 10 million, whatever he requests, really, whatever his demands are.
Mhm.
But make no mistake, Murray. This guy would improve our midfield massively.
Yeah,
He'd be the right person to play along, say someone like Skip or Hoiberg or
that
whatever.
sounds good. But that's what I was about to ask you.
Phew,
Like how would he, definitely fit on our team? Uh, he will definitely score goals from the midfield.
yeah,
He has a shot. If you look at his goals in the last 3 years, he because there's a myth, he scores because if you watch the whole video, he scores goals outside the box,
yeah.
and he is. We don't have that. We don't have that Spurs.
We needed
Name me.
someone like that against Southampton, someone that would actually take a
Thank
strike
you.
on goal. We didn't have that on.
We don't
That's
have that.
with everybody in the box and blocking the. We needed
Yeah,
someone to take
on
a
the
shot
low
from the edge of the
blocks.
box.
Oh, okay. Kessie will make them fear. Okay, because I'm watching the highlight reels of his goals. He scores goals outside the box, like deadly. And it's just kind of like, who do we have in the midfield? We don't have one.
And do you know what the funny thing is? That for the Ivory Coast, because I will be watching the Africans Cup, he plays in the number 10, which is that's, I mean, I know that he's played the odd game, but he plays in that role for the Ivory Coast. So they've obviously clearly seen something in him, that he has a good relationship with goals.
Yeah,
So, and to add that into your midfield
yeah,
on top of what we have, it was just because we don't score enough goals from midfield,
yeah,
Mari. He would add to that.
yeah.
So for me, this guy, if we can get him, go all out and get him.
He
100%.
he because people are like, okay, playmaker, right? There's different types of playmakers. You have a playmaker who is like say like Ericsson or Pirlo or master dribbler playmaker. If there was a midfielder like say
Yeah,
like De Bruyne, he's a playmaker in the form of a box to box player
yeah.
who is his passing is tremendous. And I know some people, once again, that's a myth. He has a lot of goals from penalties, but he has a lot of goals from outside of the box. Like watch the tape. He scores like lasers from outside of the box. He had just one goal. He scored a brace the other day, so
Yeah.
he's informed. He went from it was just him. He kind of did it like a Sunny.
They
He
played
was
him
a
in the number that day because of injuries. I know the game you're talking about, away to Empoli, because they had a lot of injuries in that area. They moved him up the field and played him in the number 10, and
yeah,
that's where he got both of these goals. So he, whatever position you put him in, he
yeah,
steps up. Now
yeah.
that he,
Yeah, and he scored from the end, like kind of like a Sunny. He dribbled better than everybody,
yeah, left
and
foot,
he scored a goal. Like
yeah,
that that's that's what we need. And for people, let me show you this because I took a picture. He actually came up on the top score, and I was like for the club. I'll pull up the picture. There's a picture right where it shows. People can't see it, but it is a picture out that people can see. Kessie is on that list of
yeah.
people who scored. He has 15 goals for 2021. Of course, Lewandowski scored 58 goals. But he made the list. Mason Mount scored 15 goals. Kessie scored 15. Aubameyang 17.
I think what the guys are saying, he scores a lot of goals from penalty kicks, which is listen, it's fine, he does, but you still got to put them away, guys. You still got to put the penalties away. His record is phenomenal on penalties. There's no two ways about that. He's got it in his locker to score more from open play. Definitely. He's 25 years old. He's not 29, 30. He's 25. So he hasn't even reached the peak of his career yet. Um, and I honestly think he would be a brilliant signing for Spurs if he was to come there because he fits the perfect identikit of what we require in that two in midfield. Play him alongside someone like Skip, and that's taken away from nothing for Højbjerg because I love Højbjerg, and there's been a lot of talk about him on social media and Twitter about Højbjerg. No one's I'm not one of those guys that slates him. I think he'd be a very good. And when you have three players like that, you can rotate so no player gets burnt out, which is what I think is happening with Højbjerg. He's played too many games. I think it's happening to Sonny as well. Too many games played. We need to be in a situation where we are able to say, Mari, take a seat today because we have this player is going to play in your care and we're not going to lose anything. We get you to rest, but the player that's replacing you is on your level or even
Yeah,
better. So it
exactly.
allows you to rest with no pressure. Why is Mario on the bench today? You wouldn't get that. You'd be like, you know what? He'll play the next game. So once you're in a situation where you can rotate, you're in a powerful, powerful position.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. So we go on to the next player who has been linked with us. I'm thinking it is Weston McKennie. Um, he is
USA boy.
USA boy. He is Will Stewart's favorite boy. I've changed my mind a lot about him. He has been, for me, very effective for Juventus, especially Champions League. He's
Yep.
been like really, really good. McKinney, um, McKinney, Kessie, because everybody, all right, who do you want? Who do you want?
Different players,
Yeah,
Mario, different players.
yeah, and so, but both would be gladly welcome at Tottenham. Um, Tell me of what you know about McKinney.
I'm very surprised to see Weston in to be talked about because for some reason or another, it may be Allegri, Juventus doesn't see him in a good eye. I'm not too sure. What Winston McKennie, in my opinion, provides is running off the ball. That's for me is the biggest part of his game. Is his movement off the ball. He's brilliant on the ball as well. Don't get me wrong. He's a good passer of the ball. He's very quick in the short spaces. Um, but he's very good off it. So when you're looking at players from midfield to make a run in the box, if Kane pulls out wide, he would fill those spots. And with the right ball in there, he could be scoring goals. The only thing I've always had an issue with him about is he seems to not always last 90 minutes in the game, or he
Mm,
always get taken off. I mean, I need to look into this part. This part of it, but he always seems to. Whenever I watch Juve play, he's always one of the first one or one of the second substitute to come off, or he
mm.
never quite finishes the games. And I'm not sure if that's a fitness thing, or like I said,
Physio, yeah,
maybe it's just a manager that doesn't see him in good light. But this guy here, if with Conte and the way he plays, he likes his midfielders to get to running off the ball and making the runs in the box. And this guy, I think, out of all the ones that we've mentioned so far, including Kessie, would be the best at doing that job. So, sorry,
hmm
sorry, wrong way. So it's just a case of what Conte sees or how he wants to play in midfield.
yeah,
Sorry, guys.
yeah, and no, you bring up a good point because we don't have too many. The one who out of the midfield who will run into the box is Deli Ali, but as you know, we're about to. I don't even know if we've seen Deli's last game with us. Um, because Winks we have
Delhi
yet
who?
to Deli who Winks we have yet to see that. Maybe we might see that of Winks running into the box. Um, we Hoiberg we rarely ever see him do. Um, Skip, he's growing, he's progressing, and that's something that we will
Skip
want
will
to see him
become
do.
even better.
Skip, yeah, no,
Skip has
Skip is,
Skip has great margins, Murray, to become an even better midfield. I think
yeah,
regarding someone like Hoiberg, I think what Hoiberg does, he does brilliant. Dre, listen, if we get them both in, oh boy, I'll be happy with that,
yeah.
100%.
I'll be, yeah,
Oh my word! But
we definitely have,
in regards to Højbjerg, I think that's what he does. He breaks up the play. He leads. He's a great leader of that team. That doesn't go underestimated. Whoever
yeah,
sees Højbjerg live, when you see him at the stadium, and actually watch him, you see, whilst the guy's on the ball attacking, he's sorting out our defense or the way we're set up. He does a lot of things that you don't get to see on the big screen because it's off camera. So he's brilliant at doing what he does, and it's great. And I'll definitely keep him. I would keep him in his squad because I think he would be a great to rotate in that midfield that we've been speaking about. I think though moving forwards with someone like Skip, which has got great margins, and I
yeah.
think Skip will go on to the England team very soon.
Oh, he's getting
I,
called up.
and Mourinho, if you remember what he said, this guy is a future captain he's sort of future captain in Skip. So so for me, everybody, do you know what? Everybody says something good about Skip. Very rarely do I hear anything bad being said about him.
No,
And the other thing as well that in the locker room, this guy's older than his years mentally. He's older than 21. So he behaves like he's older. He acts like he's playing like somebody that's been playing in the Premier League for a long time, Murray. And bearing in mind, this guy's really been playing since the summer in this current Spurs side. And you think just the progress he's made in that time. And we said when he became a man, before we go on to just to round off what's the subject, Skip, this guy became a man in that Man City game, first game of the season, where in the first
yeah,
half he was horrendous. At half time, he did what he had to do. Maybe somebody had a word with him, or I don't know what happened. But in the second half, what we can say, he came out a different player. And that's when we all realized this guy has the mentality. First and
yes,
foremost, has the
yes, the
character.
drive, yes, the
And then
drive,
and then he's as a player, he's done the rest.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, bring on McKennie and Kessie, but I'll be
Sure,
happy with that.
I would be ecstatic, ecstatic. All right. Marcelo Brozovic for Inter. Um,
Another thing,
Creative,
yeah,
solid as a rock, and well, also been linked to him. I
playmaker,
playmaker.
playmaker. He plays in the deep line. He plays in that in that holding mid, of the three, because Inter play five across the middle, don't they? So they
Yeah,
have the two, the Barella and Chanaloglu, or what Ericsson was before, that they would go, and this guy would be the pivot in the center.
I love Chogun Logu. It's hard to pronounce his name, but he's uh, I like that dude.
he
I didn't know how older he was. I didn't know how old. I thought he was a bit younger, but he's
No, no,
older.
he's in the latter. He's in the 27 years old. I think
28,
he's at
yeah,
28. I
28.
think this is where this guy is at. Brozovic is a very experienced player, another international player that's played in a high level, very high level. Has been at Inter Milan for quite a few seasons now. Experience, he'd be a really good addition for our team. But in that area of the park, who wouldn't be? Someone like him, you would use him as a pivot and probably free up Skip. And I always say Skip because like I said, I want it to be known that I'm not casting Hoiberg aside. I'm saying Skip because in the prosperity of the future.
He has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
higher ceiling, and also that
yeah.
Skip's going to be there for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Um, so it would allow Skip maybe to do what he did at Norwich, where he would be more involved in attacking players. So somebody like him would be a really good addition. He hasn't signed a new contract, so he's expiring. His contract runs out in the summer. Yes, I agree. I agree with that statement. Brozovic his contract is expiring. The only thing I think that in the end, I think Inter and Brozovic will come to some sort of agreement. I think they will. Out of all the ones that we spoke about, I think this guy here, he's the ones that between what he's requesting and what Inter are willing to give, it's kind of close. They're not too
Mm.
far away, and I think in the end they will strike up a deal because I believe deep down this guy wants to stay at that club. Um, but but until that pen and paper get
Money
together,
talks.
money talks, and you never know. You never know. So this guy's definitely one to keep an eye on for sure, Murray. Definitely.
Yeah. I no, I he would be wonderful addition. I'm just finding it hard to, I know his contract is running out. Inter saying right, especially right now, okay, we're gonna sell him. Um, you know, but like you said, we don't know how the negotiations are going, and so it's just anything can happen. But he would be, a wonderful addition, and Conte knows the player. He knows Conte, and so you know, anything can happen.
Mm. No,
Yeah,
no, I totally agree. I really do.
yeah,
It's all
uh,
up there. Any of these players that you've put, by the way, any of these players that you've put up to now would improve our squad massively. Not one of them will weaken us. They
yeah.
would improve us tenfold.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's where the real excitement coming in because, Paratici knows Serie. He has relationships with some of these uh, players, agents,
Yeah.
and clubs. And so, you know, normally in the January transfer window, you're more like, nothing's going to be done. But some of these players, their contract situations that it makes it seem possible that we can get someone in January. I mean, people forget, Van Dijk came in January for Liverpool, you
Yeah.
know, uh, and that was a Premier League, another Premier League club um, making that deal, So, January deals can be done. It's just, it's just a little bit more legwork, a little bit more difficult to do.
Yeah. They blew the whole transfer on him, and you remember the amount of criticism Liverpool took for the amount that they spent on a player that played for Southampton. Um, they took a lot of stick, but
Yeah,
in the very end, it paid Givens because Liverpool, different to what we had, they needed three players. We all identified they needed a goalkeeper, a centre back, and a midfielder to really make them really competitive. We're not quite there at that level yet, but we can definitely start putting things to place. And I think no transfer market should be gone to waste, even if we get one player or even two, But anything that would improve taking the right steps into where we want to go would be beneficial. So for sure, we can't let this one go. We can't let this January transfer go.
So this next player right here, um, we've been linked with forever. He has just come back, and I'll preface this. I saw him score his first goal in a while because he's been injured.
Yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful goal, and you could tell like the guy on the ball, Zaninolo.
yeah.
I would put him up there with anybody. This guy is talented on the ball. The problem is he's had horrific injuries in his young career. And man, I just saw a blurb from the Spurs Web and some of the other ones. We linked with him again because I guess him and Jose Mourinho are not going too well. Do we take the risk of having him as our attacking midfielder, knowing his injury history? Because, like I said, when this guy is fully fit, Zedinolo, um, it's a shame what injuries has done for him. Because, like, literally, from the eye test, like this guy, he knows how to get his shot. He knows how to humiliate defenders, you know. But he's injury prone.
Listen, you've just touched. Zaniolo is 21 years old, man. 21 years old.
He's
One of
still
the
young
most
pup.
talented Italian players to come out of Serie A. Undoubtedly, he has everything in his locker. A great left foot. He plays on the right side of midfield in a 4-3-3. He can play inside, inside left or right of the three in midfield. He can play in the 10. Sometimes he's used as a forward. And he has a serious eye for goal, Mari. Honestly, his left foot is tremendous. He
Yeah,
strikes the ball at such a high rate, it's unreal. So, if you're talking to me as a player, whether I think the guy's talented, I say he's super talented and more. A bit. Some things are a bit questionable off the field. He needs to sort of rein that back in and remember that he's a professional footballer. But that comes with age. I get that. He's 21 and he's a young guy, a lot of money, a lot of hype in Rome. And in Rome, when you're looked at the next, not as player, but in the prospect that this guy could become the new Totti, or
Totti. Yeah,
not like I said, I repeat, not alike as players, but in the fact that they've got another young Roman from Rome stepping in, could become a world beater, international player. But this is the big, and it's not small. But when I use that, he's done two ACLs. He's done it twice.
yeah.
Different leg, but he's once I don't care when anyone tells me when you do your cruciate knee ligaments on one leg is bad enough. You're doing on both legs. Listen, it takes something away from you as a player, and I don't know. Those who've done serious injuries in their knees knows that it takes something away from you that you cannot get back. So that's the only thing. This guy's only a kid. Can he overcome this? Can he come? Because
Mm,
he's only just recently got back, not long ago.
yeah.
And so is the Premier League the right league for him? Because it's a very challenging league, physically demanding. It's
Mm,
the tackles flying in,
hmm
as you know. I don't. That part it remains a question mark for me.
and I remember there was a time too where we were linked with him. People were like, well, Pellegrini, and I was like, Pellegrini's good, but the talent wise,
No, this guy is something else.
Zandolo is
Daniolo is something else. It really
who,
is. He's a
and and
quality.
and and mind you, I just saw him come back,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, if this guy doesn't break return his ACL, like literally, sky's the limit for this kid,
yeah.
and
Uh,
it's just tragic. But if There have been players in other sports who have really overcome and worked hard to be of quality. He's gonna have to have that mentality to, you know, may not be at Spurs, but wherever club. Because like I said,
Yeah.
I'm hearing he's not. Him and Jose are not going going too well, but I still think he could be an international player for Italy. you know.
He's listen. He was in that you. As far as I'm concerned, he was on that plane for the Euros before he done. He played in one of the last friendlies before he got injured playing for Italy actually, against Holland and or the Netherlands if you prefer. And he was there, so he was playing in that time. He was going to be one of the 23 going for to play in the Euros. That injury set him back and just unfortunately, he's only just recently come back from that. You never quite know. You have to see him play it out and then see how that goes because nobody's going to touch him right now. But if he can get 6 months right from now to the summer, playing well, not getting injured again, becoming stronger, doing the things that we know he can do, this guy is one hell of a talent. He really is. But I don't know, man. Physically, I don't know where he's at because, like I said, one ACL is bad, two ACLs is it's you got to imagine. The only one I know that to remember today that did both ACLs were R9, if you remember.
The original Ronaldo,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, the original Ronaldo, and I mean, I'm sure there's been other players since, but he's the one that comes to my mind straight away. And we know, and it happened to him later on in his
yeah,
years. The first one he got it young, but then afterwards he did it, and he never quite came back the same. So that's
yeah,
my only question mark about him.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. And so now we get to the spicy part. We get into the
Oh
forwards.
my, oh my,
We go into the forwards, and the man of the
ever.
hour is Dusan Vlahovic,
Yeah,
um, and a couple things, and I'll throw it to you. Seeing the reports today, um, we're going after him in the summer. And of course, I'm like, man,
I'll be
if we
too
don't
late
get
for
him
me.
now, I we're
We
not
mi-
gonna get him in the
we
summer.
missed that boat.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
that's me personally. If it gets to the summer, you know, we're not we're not getting him.
Yeah.
Um, the one thing, the one thing, other than the cockiness, which I love, Ronaldo's that way, even Messi that way. Goal scorers or goal scorer. I hear interviews from one of my favorite Italians, um, who's on being sports here in America. That is no, not striker, not Di Piero, Christian Vieri,
Right.
Christian Vieri, and he says when you're a goal scorer, you just score goals. You just it's in your blood. You just know it. What I love about this guy is his movement. When I've been watching Florentina, that guy knows how to put himself in position to score. It's just remarkable. And that's why I'm just like, this guy, you put him in Conte's system, you get him in, this guy will do world of wonders. Am I wrong, Iggy?
This guy is listen. We've been speaking again. I say this again. Tottenham away. We've been speaking about this guy for a while, and we've been saying, they asked me last season, at the end of last season, I said, listen, this guy, for the age that he's at, 20, 21 years old, is super talented. But what I said back then is that he's only had one good season in Italy. One. He's only played one league season. I said, let's hold out and see how he gets on in the second season at Fiorentina. Then we will know. Once a player confirms what he's did the first season, that it's not a lucky season that he's had or anything like that, he will establish himself again. Then I'll say, right, listen, as soon as the season started, he picked up on where he left off. He started scoring a ridiculous amount of goals. Like we said earlier, in 2021, in one single year, is on 34, I believe. 30, yeah, 30,
Yeah, the fact.
yeah, 34. That's astonishing. That's astounding
Only
record.
Ronaldo.
Only
Ronaldo,
he beat Ronaldo's record. I mean, it's extraordinary what he's able to achieve. You're right. His movement to get himself in those positions is really really good. He's not the quickest, as in like I thought he was faster in a sprint, but he's fast up here, so he's
yeah,
already there. His left footed player. Honestly, he can finish. He has all the attributes in regards to his finishing. What he would allow us to do, where we are lacking creativity right now in this Spurs team, if you brought him in, you could drop Kane
Kane, yep, to
and
the 10.
let him lead the front and put Kane to create. It gives you that option to do that. It gives you the option to rest Kane, knowing fully well that you've got another guy that's going to get goals for you, and you don't need to worry about Kane rushing him back or getting him on the pitch because you cannot find another solution. You're right, Mari. If this guy needs to come, he needs to come right now. You need to tie him up, bring him to your team right now. Whether the Fiorentina will deprive themselves and jeopardize their rest of their season to get rid of him now, I'm not too sure. But I think if you get more than three, four, five teams that want him, you're getting yourself in a bidding war. And we don't want to get in a bidding war because that would not be
That would not be good.
it would not be good for anyone, and definitely not Spurs, and definitely not Levy. You know he's not going to get into no bidding war. He
Nah,
wanted, so you know that's not going to happen. So
he's not.
let's knock that right out of the park. We need to get this guy now, and I would blow my whole winter transfer on
Yeah,
just this guy. I really would. If
break
they
the
said to me, this is the only
bank.
guy you could sign one player and that will be it for the January transfer, I'll be like, I'll take that right now. This
I
is how
would.
highly we think of him.
I am 100% agree with you.
And
Break
he's
the
Serbian as well. Is
bank.
it with that, the cockiness thing that you was talking about? He's Serbian. His idol's Ibrahimovic. You know, he when they played Milan, he went to ask for his shirt. He idolizes Ibrahimovic. They speak the same language. They spoke Serbian when they saw each other. He got his Ibra to sign his shirt to give it to him. This
Yeah,
guy, yeah. Listen,
I saw that they already lined up his replacement. Um, and this guy, I
Scott, I honestly think that Fiorentina are holding out for a bidding war. Who wouldn't? When you got the hottest property in Europe, you want the bidding war because you want to. Commisso, the Italian American owner, he wants as much as he can get from him. He's holding out for 80, 90 million euros. He proclaimed that. He said that. This is not coming out of my mouth. It came out of Commisso's mouth saying he wants to get about 80, 90 million euros. I think in the end he'll settle for 70. I think he will. But right now those are the figures. And if you're going to strike, you need to strike now. I think the summer would be too late. That's my
Dre
feeling.
Dre brings up a point. He says we have Kane's song. We don't need to blow a budget on his striker. Blowing it on fixing the defense. I'll let you handle this one. Yes,
I
yes.
listen. I think. Listen. I don't. Dre, I don't disagree that the defense don't do fixing. I think our defense has. What is it? It's been holding out. It's been doing really well defensively. We haven't conceded a lot of goals. We haven't had Romero really and truly for a while now, and he needs to come back to the fold. I don't disagree that the defense doesn't need to be resolved. I think there are weaknesses there, but we're talking about Vlahovic now. We're talking about this guy. Honestly, he would if you thought Son and Kane were solid to have three guys like that, and you can potentially get them to play together. We will score goals for fun.
For
For fun.
fun. For fun. And like the guy is the truth. And like there's some guys like there Vincent Janssen. You look at him and stuff, and it's just like, man, why did we ever this guy? Look, I start talking about the movement.
Yeah.
The guy is attracted to the goal net. He's attracted to it. The guy makes love to the goal net. The guy like I said, you know what? I've seen the highlights. Let me watch Florentina. I have ESPN Plus. I have the Serie A package. Let me watch Florentina. I'm watching this dude, and I'm just like, literally, like, and like I said, if we had a creative midfielder, all right, put Kane in there, Kane servicing this guy and his smart movement and Sonny. Oh my goodness, we will be
We can even
scoring.
play with two up front. No problem. We can play with both him and Kane together. Do you see the options are endless, man. The options are endless. And like I said, Dre, you're right. Vlahovic said he wants to get Fiorentina to Europe. He does, because then he's not stupid. He stays where he is, carries on scoring, he's in a settled side, and then holds out for the big move in the summer where everybody's going to be after him. He's going to score a lot more goals, his value's going to go up, and the bidding war will start. We cannot get into that. As Tottenham Hotspur, we won't get into that. And of course, like I said to you, and I'm reading your comment, yeah, the defense does need that. They're not the solution. I'm not disagreeing with you. But right now, you got a one-time opportunity to get somebody, and you have the money. Spurs have the money. Don't get that thing twisted. They have the money to go and buy him outright. It's just whether a case whether we have the board, Levy, Inick, and whoever else you want, whether they will spend that money. That remains to be seen.
And Scott brings up a point. Kane is 28. Sonny is what 30.
21, yeah.
Yeah, we need young goal scorers, proven goal scorers. We,
This
we,
guy
we
will
need
only
that.
get better. This guy will only get better. He's
Yeah,
21 years
I
old.
mean, yes, we have Dane Scarlett, but as you can see, Scarlett hasn't been named to the team. It's not. I think Conte. I'm thinking Conte is thinking Dane Scarlett is too young enough to be
Yeah, I
named
agree.
to the team. So Kane goes. We have nobody.
No.
we don't. We're not like, and that's the fear. Let alone
That
if
the only
Sonny
thing.
goes and
Oh,
gets hurt.
what makes me
Uh,
think that Conte has the pulling power to get a player like this at Tottenham. He has the pulling power.
yeah,
We would need to show this guy that we're a more
ambition.
ambitious team
Yeah.
than say Fiorentina. We are more ambitious than them. We want to kick on to become even better. Then the guy has time on his side where he's 21. He could say, you know what, I can play 2 or 3 seasons in the Premier League and I'll still be 24, 25 years old. But if we get the likes of Man City involved, Man United or Chelsea, I know Man City need a striker. They need a number 9, although they're doing well without a striker. Add him into that team. What's going to happen to Man City? They'll have the title wrapped up by March.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. I will say this, and I said this on Twitter a couple weeks ago. If there was an alternative, because he had a great Euros and he's on fire on the Bundesliga. Patrick Schick is having a great year.
He's a
Patrick
name that's
Schick,
been linked. Yeah,
yeah.
he's been.
And I just saw today that there's some interest. We're looking at Schick. Like, that would be the only nice alternative that I'll be content with.
Yeah.
Other than that, we have to show the ambition to get this guy in January.
So
His
it would be
agents,
a
his
marquee signing, Murray. It's a state of intent.
yeah,
This is not just about signing this guy. It's a state of intent. A marquee signing, a name that's going to make everyone at
we
Tottenham
mean
go,
business.
"Whoa, where this?" Yeah, exactly,
We
exactly.
mean business. It's a signing that says we mean business. And I'm telling you, we get this guy in. Now the fan base is crying in tears. But
Lucas, sorry, Murray. Just to say what Lucas saying, where do you get a quality striker today for less than that money? You cannot get one. All the strikers now are always 70, 80, 90, 100 million and plus. A striker at 70 million is a listen. It's still a lot of money, but when you think about what the strikers are going for, Mari, 70 million all of a sudden isn't that bad.
yeah, well, he's in the top. He's in the top 10 in regards to strikers right now. I think globally, right now, Haaland is gonna go 150, 175. I
Yep.
mean, like,
This
it,
guy
it-
could get to that though because he's still young. The price will go on the
oh
rise.
yeah, the price is going up. The price as he scores more goals, the price is going up. But but man, if we could get this guy, man, and I understand, you don't want to blow the whole budget, but if you have to for this guy, yeah, for this guy, yeah, for this guy, yeah, it will be making a huge statement. Like,
Yeah.
we're going from one of the youngest badasses that are out there, and the
Look at it.
guy,
Look at it. Look at it this way, Mari. We signed this guy 70, 80 million, even 90. Let's say 90 million, and you get a couple of the other guys on a free transfer. That's that. You haven't spent. You would have spent 90 million across three. You would have got three guys, but only spent 70, 80, 90 million because all the other guys that you pretty much mentioned are on a free. Kessie, free. One or two others as well in it, all free transfer. A lot of them are leaving.
on the
You
free,
know,
yeah,
the Bala hasn't signed a new contract. He could potentially go on a free as well. So there's so many different talented players that would be good for this Spurs side, like Brozovic, Kessie. They're all on the free. They will be leaving on a free transfer unless they sign a new contract. So if you can get a couple of those guys in and spend 70, 80 million on Vlahovic, it isn't so bad all of a sudden. You got a competitive side. Maybe not a squad, but you definitely got a competitive first 11.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. No, I totally agree. And so, and I love it. This is a very, very good debate. But
This
yeah,
guy
like I said,
excites us, Murray. Out of all the ones that we mentioned, this is the one that excites us the most,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. Other than for me, Kessie,
Yeah,
well, Vlahovic is the guy's the truth. The guy's the truth. Literally, uh,
game changers. These are game changers.
yeah, and that's why we brought Conte in. We want to get game changers. That's you know, and now is the test. January
Yeah.
1st. We're gonna see if Levy's gonna put his money to his mouth. Is of course we want to spend smart. We want to do our scouting well. But I think all the top clubs know that this guy is the guy. He is the guy. Yeah. Um, this guy. Um,
Kulusevski.
I have a question for you about him. I see the talent that he has.
Yeah.
I, I'm I'm wondering why hasn't his Juventus career blown up? And I have a fear, and maybe I'm 100% wrong, so I want you to correct me. I feel that he might be a lightweight coming to the Premier League, and I don't know. I worry about this guy. I want to see him if we sign him succeed, but I feel that he might be a bust because I think he might be a lightweight. Am I 100% wrong?
I think the guys. Listen, the guy is a good player. He's undoubtedly a good player. He's a very young player, but I think under this current manager, um, Allegri, Max Allegri, he doesn't see him. He doesn't see. Yeah, again, it's the same thing with he just doesn't have him in his eye. He's very pragmatic manager, very defensive manager, and this guy's an attacking player that can play wide right, he can play wide left, he can play in the middle and up front. He's 21 years old. Swedish international. He's one of the most talented players in Sweden, like coming out from Sweden right now. I think he's a confidence player. I think that's what's happening then. Without the confidence of the manager, there's certain players that just doesn't they don't reach the heights if they don't fully feel backed by the manager. Um, if he's gone to Juve, Mari, if Juve signed him, it's because they saw something in him. because Juve are one of those sides that are one of those clubs that don't just buy anyone if they don't truly believe that there's something there. I think this guy is a good player. He'll be make a very good addition to our side. Is he probably a priority? I wouldn't say. I'll probably say I'll say no. But I think also Juventus are looking to sell him because of the money that he would bring in. They say if we have to sacrifice a couple of players to then get the money, like I said earlier, to get the money to then finance the Vlahovic move, it will be him and McKennie. And if they got Paratici, who it looks like wants to bring both him and McKennie together for 60 million, that will give them the money to then go and give Fiorentina, say, give us Vlahovic, because Juve need the striker. So that would be almost like we'll be almost financing the money for a player that we want. Um, so this is why I think the Vlahovic thing needs to be done now. But in regard to this guy, I think he's a talented boy. Lovely left foot. He's very cool, very, very cool in front of goal. That's the one thing I've seen. If you look at some of the goals, he doesn't
Yeah.
smash the ball. He doesn't like take. He's very cool, cool under pressure, and I think he'd be a really good addition for any team. I really do, and the margins again for improvement, not only as a player, but the value of the player, given the age that he is, are great. Like they're very, it's all plus. So you know,
Scott, Scott's
I
question: can he play anywhere other than right wing?
he could play in the left, and he's played up front for Juventus, Scott. I've seen him play in a 4-4-2 as a forward. I've seen him play on the right side. He's a left-footed player, by the way. He plays on the right and he's played on the left, but that's the best position that I saw him play before he went to Juve. I saw him play at Parma. He was playing on the right of the three up front. So that's I think the position that suits him best. Three up front, and if we go with Kane and Son on the left and Kulusevski on the right, I think that would be the best fit for him.
Mm, okay. Yeah. No. I mean, like I said, I've seen him a few times, um, and
He hasn't
I don't know.
impressed you. He's not playing in the right fit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because of course, it's Juventus you want to watch. You see Champions
Yeah.
League, and then you want to watch Chessa, who I think if we got him. Whew, I was so in love. I love Federico Chessa. But the times I've seen him, he just doesn't pop out the screen. He doesn't, But then again, I've seen his highlights. Very effective, when he gets his chance in the box, um, and scoring, and so, um, but um, but yeah,
Like I
no,
said,
he,
he's a confidence player. He knows he doesn't have the confidence of the Juventus current manager. He knows that. He doesn't get picked by him. He doesn't get
yeah,
played a lot by him. And when he does, he's almost thrown in because he's
and
like,
and that's why I mean lightweight, like mentality, not more like his
yeah, cool.
physique.
But
His
you're dealing with the number one when it comes to mentality at Spurs right now.
Conte,
So
yeah,
if
yeah,
Conte thinks that this guy is the one for him, and the only thing that he has to work on with him is the mentality because he has the talent, then that's a marriage made in heaven already right there because he knows he can get into it mentally. And once he gives him the trust, the world's your oyster at that point. So I'm not worried about that side of him because he'll be working under a manager that could get the best out of him mentally as well.
yeah, yeah. Look at the comments. Yeah,
I'm
Patrick
trying to read. They're
Schick.
coming in. I'm
Yeah,
trying to read
yeah,
as
yeah.
many as.
Jonathan David, Canadians having a good in Liga. He's having a good, very very good year, in regards to striking options. And then I've mentioned Stick, who's just he's balling. Right now, he is balling.
He's played in, do you know the player that's played in Germany? He's played in Italy already at Samp, and he's played at some Roma. We saw him in the Euros where he scored that goal against Scotland. Incredible,
Oh
incredible techers. So the talent is clearly there, even in Sheik. It's just another player that seems to rely on confidence or a manager that truly believes in him.
yeah,
Though that's what because you can't do that in different clubs that you go to, you can't get those moves unless there's something about you, Mari. There's got to be something about this kid, and he's got the talent. Now it's just he's gone to Germany. He's doing really well there. Maybe now he's mentally ready for a big move.
Yeah, and the
Um,
last person we got for Bayer was Sonny, and that worked out well.
yeah, yeah. Well,
That worked.
they
That worked
so
out well. Yeah.
listen. Any of these players that have been mentioned so far, any of those players would improve our squad, would
Yeah.
improve our team, let alone our squad.
Yeah. 100% agree. I mentioned him because breaking news. It
He's gone to
looks like he's
Canada.
going to the
Canada.
MLS to Canada, Toronto FC. He's going to be there with the two Bryans, which is a huge get for the MLS. The guy is 30, still in form. You saw him in the Euros.
Yep.
Napoli was leading the beginning of the year. They've kind of waned a bit, but he is still integral to the team. Insigne was one of the rumored players. Um, but if it doesn't fall through him going to Toronto FC, which I am still shocked, but I guess the money that they're gonna pay him
Yeah.
is a huge gap for the MLS. So if that doesn't fall through, is this Insigne? He's 30. Is it a good pickup for Spurs?
Listen, I think Insigne would be a great addition. At the peak of his career, uh, it's very possible, Shaggy. It's very possible.
Yeah.
Listen, the guy's at the peak of his career. We saw him in the Euros. We saw that goal he scored, his trademark goal that he scored against Belgium. Um, the guy's a quality player, but he's at the crossroads now. You know, he has he's a local Napoli boy, and those when you play for Napoli and you're a local boy, you don't sign for any other Italian team. He's not somebody that I always felt would never sign for another Italian team. Although Inter have been knocking at the door, and he's always wanted to win the Serie A. Obviously, like every kid, every Italian kid wants to win the Serie A. So I thought maybe Inter may be in a solution because they're ready now, and they're exactly at the same stage of where he's at,
Mhm.
that they can win it. But as soon as I heard Toronto and I've heard the money that they're offering him, 5-year deal, he would be something like, I don't know the exact figures yet, but he's on 3, 4 times more than what he's currently at Napoli. He's
Mm.
not doubling his wages, he's potentially trebling or quadrupling his wages. I don't know. I've got to look at it before and after tax. And you know as well as me, if someone's trebling your wage or possibly quadrupling it, it's a no-brainer, man. It's your last big contract, 5 years. Yes, where does that leave him ambition-wise? 30 years old, he's just going to up and leave and go to, with all due respect, a Toronto side. It's not a, it's not a. We know that why that deal was going ahead. We know why that deal was going ahead, and it's purely financial. And listen, in his place, I can't. I don't feel like I can have a go at him because if someone's offering any of us 3, 4 times what we're on right now,
Yeah, take
I'm
it.
taking it, buddy. I'm taking it.
Yeah. And
So,
Toronto is a beautiful city, and they have a large
well, you
Italian.
you tell me.
Uh,
I know there's a large Italian community, but you tell me what it's like.
Montreal, and because I have family in Montreal, I'm saying it's beautiful. Haven't been there, but but I do know they have a large Italian
Yeah.
community in Toronto and Montreal, and so the only thing is he's gonna have to bring a coat for the winters, but yeah, you
So
know,
he's gonna be received like an absolute king, covered in gold.
oh yeah, it's
Do
a
you see
good
what I
fan
mean?
base. It's a good.
Yeah.
It's
So
what. Yeah. The one thing. I know people make fun of the MLS, because it comes on in the middle of the night on Sky.
yeah.
Um, I've had friends who come from England, and I take them to the Orlando game, and we just lost Nani, but before that we had Kaká. The
And
atmosphere,
yeah.
they're truly impressed by the atmosphere. They're like, wow, the gameplay. That's a different.
Okay.
It's
It's an experience.
it's a spirit. It's a bit slower. They say maybe at best second level with it, it depends on which team that you're watching, so but they're like the atmosphere. So the only way it could go is go up.
Yeah,
But
of course, of
there's
course.
some things that has to change. One being the pay for play system that the United States have um, has to change, and some things with the academies. But yeah. So the
Yeah,
last player, and someone mentioned this. I think it was Luca. Yep, it was Luca. We saved. I say the best for last. Veteran, older, but
Perisic.
you know what you're gonna get from him. And he is all he does. He's Mr. Reliable. He is Mr. Reliable. Maybe to bring in another veteran. He
It's
still has some legs. I'm surprised because I keep thinking he's gonna fall off, but he's like he reminds me of Robin or Ribery, who he could play till 37 and still kind of be
no, he's
effective.
physically very integral player. He was a left. He was used to play on a left forward of the three in attack. But then when Conte came, he changed him into a wing back, didn't he, on the left hand side? Um, Listen, the biggest issue that they have is 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 the money now. The new contract's coming up. He wants a 3 year deal, and he wants 6 million. And Inter are currently offering up to 3.5 million. So there's a quite a significant gap there. And but yeah,
That's a good question.
is that
Good
final
question.
stages? Yeah, is that the later stages of his career now? And he still could be he could be a very valuable player, but it's the demands, someone that wants €6 million a year, it's quite a lot. And I don't know if we would give him that first and foremost. And like I said, on that side with the wing backs, we've got Sessegnon that's cover for Regulon. We got Son that plays on that side in the forward line. I don't see where Perisic would fit, but Conte knows him well. Conte
Yeah,
knows this player well, so I wouldn't rule it out. I just don't see him as a list of priorities.
yeah, yeah. Because you know, I'm torn by this because I'm like, oh, he's older and stuff, and I'm like, but then I'm like, whenever I see him play, he's effective. Like
Yeah, he is.
he does what he does what the team needs. He does what they do, and those are places you have to value. Those are places you have to appreciate. And it's just
Mario, I
you
just
know,
think for the money for the wages that he'll be going at is 32 years old now, so
mm,
he's in the latter stages, his last contract. And as you know, we don't sign players that are not going to give us spend all that money and don't give us no return in future sales. So it goes against what we are for. He's
no,
ready
Levy's
now.
awesome.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's ready
Levy's
now. You say you want to get him, spend them, give him what he wants, and you got a ready-made player right now to make a difference in your teams. He can give you 1 or 2 years for sure. I
mhm,
just don't see him as a list of priority.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
Uh,
the quality of the players is no discussion about it. Thanks, Spurs 72.
Thank you,
Um,
Spurs 72.
I,
Yeah,
the quality is undeniable.
yeah, yeah. And so the I guess the last question of is now we just went through these players, and that doesn't include like so most of the players are Serie A league players. We got a few, yeah, maybe one in the French, and a couple in the Premier League. Realistically, how many players you think go, and how many players you think comes in January?
Oh, for Spurs, we need to start shipping out some players, man. We need to start getting rid of some players that we don't need because we're gonna need to listen. I don't think Levy's gonna finance everything. I think he will say to Conte, "We will give you some money, but some of the money needs to be recouped by sales. Sales straight away. Ali, Ndombele, Doherty, players that are
Lo
in the
Celso?
yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Here, I would include any players that up to now, in 8 weeks that Conte's been there, Any players who has failed to make his setup, you can see the players who are no longer this. Rodon is another one that
Yeah,
he's not played at all under Conte.
at all, at
At
all.
all, at all. So you can, yeah, but for sure you can include Lo Celso in that. I think those players right there, we need to start recouping some money, man. You got a lot of money there, sitting there doing nothing on big wages, man, as well. Big wages.
Yeah, yeah.
We need to start getting off the
Criminal.
books. I don't think the squad is big enough. I think numerically wise, I don't think we should be losing any players. I think we should be adding because we're not there numerically wise. But there's a lot of dead wood there, as in the amount it's costing you on wages, and we need to start financing, using some of that money to then add to whatever Levy and the board give us to go and get on players that we actually need and are a good cause for the Spurs cause. Yeah, those are the players I'll be looking to. Whether it would be loan and an option to sell, like you know what Man United tried to do with Lingard, like a deal with West. You know, it's like some a team that needs him. He does well, the value goes up, and then you could potentially sell him at a price in the summer. Take that as well.
Yeah,
That could be an option, but whatever happens, we need to move these guys on.
yeah. So if I gave you the chance of, because I put in maybe 14 players, I want to say. Uh, I say four. If there's four people that we discussed this afternoon, who are the four people? Be like, get them in from the 14 that we just discussed.
Okay, this is what I'd want. In defense, we spoke about Skriniar and De Vrij. I mean, if we can get those guys, I mean, I know that they're not quite up to expiry date in this summer, but those are a must in defense. I mean, that immediately they come to my mind straight away. Midfield, Kessie is a no-brainer for me. That's a free transfer. Brozovic will be a decent signing because you're not spending any money. So I'm not looking to spend a lot of that in midfield, but I'll be able to get quality players in at zero cost. Up front, well, it's a no. For me, the number one target has to be Vlahovic. That would be an awesome. You know what? Lazari would be a good signing if we can get only if we can get rid of the other guys that are currently playing there. We're well covered there. But yeah, Milenkovic, somebody I can't remember if it was Dre, but he said that he's got a reduced cost rate of 15 million. If that is indeed the case, listen, that little it must have escaped me. But if that's the case, 15 million is not bad to get a player in that will improve your defense immediately. So if that's the case, I'll say him, Lazari, Kessie, and Vlahovic. Brozovic as backup only to Kessie.
My four players would be Delit.
Oh my god! Get your wallet out, Levy. Get your wallet out.
It would be Delit. It would be Kessie. It would
Okay.
definitely be McKinney, and then I would then go for, of course, Vladovic. It would be the
Mate,
four that I would
you've
choose.
just blown 200 million right there. You just blown
Yeah.
150 million.
Well, basically, I'm just letting
Yeah, you're
just
doing that.
letting
I was trying to compensate the big
it.
signing with the free transfers. I was trying to so right, spend on one big on playing and get a couple on those small. But
Yeah.
you just gone all out.
I think realistically, I think we get three. I think Kessie is going to be the pre-contract.
Yeah,
All the signs are showing Conte wants this to happen. It's about to be done. Um, I think he's going to be on a free contract. Um, so that's like one for next year. I think the ones that we realistically could get. I think Stefan De
right.
De Vrij is going to probably come in, and I strongly think that we're going for Vlahovic. I strongly do, and if it's just Vlahovic and DeVry,
I'll take that.
I'll take it.
I'll take two.
So,
I said to answer the Daryl's. It does sound like, but I'm answering what Mari's asked me. He said four. If you could sign any four right now, I would say those four. But for me, if you get me Vlahovic, even just him alone, I would take that. I'll be
yeah,
so happy if we could get normally transfers in the January, one or two, maybe. And also, you're looking to get rid of players that you don't need anymore. Maybe if we can get two in and two out, that's decent for January. It's not amazing, but it's decent. And
yeah,
then the rest of the work is done in the summer. So with that, I agree with you, Daryl. But yeah, those are the players for me that need to go. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Oh, it was Ishak. Sorry, 50 million release clause for Milinkovic. That is a good signing for that money. Definitely worth at that
yeah.
money. Right, at that money, he's good. He's good buy. He's a good buy.
Yeah. And to answer Dre's question, yeah, I definitely want to hit the other targets, though it's most of the targets are really the Serie A that we are going after. But yes, I will definitely let you know, and thank you for the support, Dre. Everybody else too.
Everyone,
Really, really,
cheers,
really good
guys.
show. Very, very good input. Um, you know.
Spurs 72 notes.
Hey, you can only dream. You can only dream, you know. Yeah. But
Hey, this is Mari's choice. He's gone for Delict and Vlahovic. I said to him, "There's no way we'll spend that money." But you know, the guy can dream. That's the four that he wants. That would be. I think if you could get him half of those he requested, he'll take that too.
I would take what Scott's saying, DeVry and Abrazovic. I think we'll take anything because I
Yeah,
think
I
any
said
of
it
these
from the
players,
go. Any of these players would improve us massively.
yeah, it will be an upgrade. Yeah, because like, oh, you know what? I know you have a few minutes. Um, what's your opinion
Adama
on? I can't even say his name. Legend. I can't even say his name.
Who's it?
Um,
Who is it? Lenglet.
for Barcelona. Lenglet and Adam Traore. Uh,
Adama Traore. Oh
and
man,
then
look at what we've just been speaking about. Look at the quality of the players that we've been speaking about, and then Adama Traore. Listen, Adama Traore. It doesn't excite me, but I've read somewhere statistically wise, no assists, no goals this season. Is that correct? No assists, no
can he
goals.
be a wingback? Can
He
he play
can
wing?
do. He can do a job there. I just think we need something else. I think I just he doesn't excite me as a player. He
I'm
doesn't.
the
He
same.
doesn't.
I feel the same way. I'm just like
It doesn't excite me. Would it be a listen? Yeah, it'd be a good squad player, perhaps, Dre. But it doesn't. It doesn't fill me with with happiness. I think we need something else. I just in that wing back
Leglet.
situation.
Now Leglet's good on the ball.
You know him
I
better
like
than
him.
me. You know him better than me.
Barcelona, yeah. I guess he's not part of the youth project with Barcelona.
Yeah,
He's like I said, would be an upgrade. He's good on the ball. I mean,
the
that's what
Barcelona
we
way.
need. Yeah,
And
the Barcelona way.
Kulusevski, we just covered it. I think if, any
Yeah.
manager that wants to bring him at the club has to truly believe in the young, talented player that he is. I think he's a massive confidence player, and without anybody that truly believes in him, he won't thrive. But so if Conte brings him in, it's because he truly believes in him.
Yeah, Dre does agree. I don't want any of those plays except for yeah, no, yeah, we're in agreement. Yeah,
We're on the same page, Dre.
yeah, same page. I don't know why this obsession with Tiore
I don't know where
with
it's come from, man.
I
I don't get it. I don't get it. Look
I
at his stats this season: 0 goals, 0 assists. Somebody
zero.
said that
Uh,
zero
uh,
goals, 0 assists this season. I
yeah.
read that on social media. Someone, I just again, it doesn't. I think that if we're gonna, if under Conte we are showing a rate of intent because I fail to believe, and I hope I'm truly right in saying this. We wouldn't sign a manager like Conte if we had no desire to go forward and a step up. I just don't see Traore as a step up. That's what
Yeah,
we all want. We want to show signs of intent, of progress. I don't
ambition.
know.
Yeah, it's
Ambition.
just
I don't see how Traore gives us that. That's all.
yeah. One player I don't want to say January, but in the summer, I like the kid, and I think he would be perfect under Conte system.
Okay.
Ollie Watkins. I like the guy. I think he's playing for the wrong team. I think he has so much more to put out if he is on a team like say Spurs.
For sure.
I would hate for him to go to Arsenal because I heard a couple of Arsenal people go there because if he goes there, he's going to do even much better than he's doing with Aston Villa. Would he
Uh,
be a good backup striker?
for
Uh,
sure. For sure. He'd be a good striker to play. It's so weird because we're now talking players as what we would consider as Plan B because given the players that we just been speaking about, when you start mentioning Ollie Watkins, with all due respect, it's not on that level. But to answer the question, for sure he would be a great addition. He would definitely. Maximan is a
Maxim,
he's a good player. He's a
yeah,
bit wild, but he's a definitely good player. I just see I will go back to Watkins, but in regards to Maximan right now, he is the cherry at Newcastle. You know, he's a standout player. I don't think, for Newcastle's point of view, it's not a great deal. It's not. It wouldn't be a great idea to sell him right now because then it shows their lack of intent. They
yeah,
would look. These guys, the new proprietors, new owners, have come in to make them better. How is this? How would that be a sign by getting rid of Maximum? How's that a sign to the fans that you're making this team better? So but yeah, listen, I like the guy. Hey, I like the guy. Maximum's a really good player. But in Watkins will definitely be a good addition. We definitely need something else that could play alongside Kane or could be a backup to Kane. We definitely need some. And you know who else I would say in that left centre back that could play ahead of Davis? Mings.
oh, he
I
could be
like him.
available.
I
He could
like
be
him.
available.
I
Yeah,
like Mings, a left centre back, strong physically. You know, he's strong physically, good in the air, decent on the ball, England international too. He could be someone that would immediately improve our left centre back role straight just
yeah,
by having him on board. So he's someone I like.
yeah, yeah. No, I wouldn't be disappointed if we had him.
And look at Drake.
On
Look at Drake straight away. He's too rash. But Conte would improve that. I don't want
yeah,
Conte would improve that. Look how much he's done already with our defence. He's playing the same players, just created a better system to make them look better than what they actually are. They're playing better, they're more comfortable, and it's showing them in a good light compared to exposing their weaknesses. So, Dre, whilst I understand the thinking of what you're saying, I think Conte would improve that in his game. He'll make him. You cannot take. Look at what's happened to Sanchez. You want to talk about rash? Let's talk about Davinson Sanchez. In the last couple of games, he's been by far our best defender. Does that mean he's not rash anymore? It's just limiting the possibility of him being rash and showing in a good light just what a good defender he can be. It's
yeah,
just focus. His focus is different.
yeah. I think you may improve like us. See with Wings, Tyron Mings can definitely totally improve. Improve. Like he can maybe get to the level of. I was a fan of Aki, Nathan Aki, who went to City. I was
Yeah,
just like, oh, go get him, and Nathan Aki went to. Oh no, I got a spammer. Uh, oh, I hate that. Uh,
you can't help it.
yeah, yeah, that's not cool. Not cool. Um, yeah, I was always a fan with Aki. Um, uh, but he went to City. You know,
Exactly that, Mari. You've just hit the nail on the head. You've got to look at the context. You see a player play for Bournemouth and then you see him at Man City. You see someone play at Aston Villa under Steven Gerrard. With all due respect, he's a rookie manager compared to Conte. You got to
yeah.
look at the context that you're looking at the players in.
Conte
I
improves
think
players. Yeah,
I think he would massively improve as a player. So I see him as a good signing ahead of Davis and that side. There's not a lot of left-sided defenders that could play in a three. That's all. And I think he would be a real good player to play in that system.
yeah. No, definitely. Well, I think it's about that time because you had the 4 to 6, and it is a I like Kanza. I do like Kanza.
Very good
Um,
player.
yeah,
I
very
just
good
don't think.
play.
Do you reckon
Yeah.
out of the two though, who would Gerard get rid of? Konsa, I think he has
Probably
long
getting rid of
term.
Mings here because he
You see
wants
what I? But yeah, Konsa,
Schlotterbeck.
Konsa is a quality defender for
Yeah,
sure. He's a good for sure, no doubt about that. Ed, I agree with that.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely agree. Schlotterbeck, better option. Uh,
I'm not here nor there with that one.
yeah, I'm more of a meh on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
more of a
doesn't
meh.
fill me with excitement, Dre.
It would cost to Ben
Listen,
White.
Ben White's a good defender. Hey, listen, I don't care that he's a goon or not. I look at the guy as a defender and as a player. For sure, Ben White is a. I'm just looking at what's available, what could be available, and what would improve. Are any of those players that we've just mentioned better option than Ben Davis? Let me ask you guys that in the chat. Any of them better than Ben Davis, and will they improve us by bringing them in? The answer to that is yes. It's easy to answer that.
Mings, I think Mings would be better
That
than
that's
Davies
all
in my
you.
opinion. And yeah, I think he would be better. And that's not included what Conte would do to them in working with them. Yeah. He's become a regular in the national team. He's challenging for top four with Freiburg. That is true. That is true. Um, yeah, no. I just want to thank you, Iggy, because I've been with other streams with you through Bob, and like I
Yeah.
said, guys, continue
Oh,
to
best wishes to Bob. By the way, he's
thoughts,
still very
wishes,
much in our
prayers.
minds,
Yeah,
and we do love and miss him, and we love as well as being in his shows, him being in our shows, and I'm sure he's been with your show. He's been
yeah,
at Tottenham away, and we love and miss not having him about. But first and foremost comes health, as you know, and we truly wish him the best and full recovery.
yeah. And so I've always said, man, I gotta get Iggy on, and I was like, this is the perfect scenario.
I
Um,
appreciate it. I
because
appreciate
I
it.
love your insight on the game, and definitely I think everybody else has enjoyed the stream, and not the first time, and definitely not the last time. Um, and where can people find you and find him, and then like and subscribe? I think they've hit their. You guys are at 1,000, right? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
And so
We
now you
are. We
guys.
are. We enjoy what we do. We're enjoying what we do. We listen. We're at Tottenham away. At Tottenham underscore away. Where you can see us on our Twitter page, on YouTube, Facebook, whatever you want. We're all across that. Next show will be what are we today? Thursday. So our next show is going to be Monday night. And we'll be talking about obviously Spurs and everything that's happened
Watford game.
over the week, over the weekend, the Watford game, of course. So you can find us there, and if you want to give us a like and subscribe, that'd be
Thank you, Drew.
great. Thanks, Drew. I appreciate it, buddy. If you want to give us a like and subscribe, we'd be very appreciative of that. Me personally, I'm on Twitter at Iggy Prince 10. You can see it. Should be on the screen somewhere, but when it comes up,
Yeah,
yeah,
there
at
it
Iggy
goes.
Prince 10. That's where my personal Twitter page is. If you want to give us a follow, that would be awesome. If not, I'll look forward to seeing you here at Tottenham Away or anywhere else that we may be. It was
Yeah.
lovely. I really enjoyed the show today. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I just want to thank the people who are on here today. Spurs Love
Thanks, Luca.
Lounge is a totally different animal on Wednesday nights. uh, Spurs Tavern talk. We will just talk about, of course, Spurs, but we're also going to talk about some of the issues going on in football. Um, and so, really excited about this new show. And so, and our first guest is Iggy, and so I'm going to have some interesting guests, some interesting topics, and so it's gonna be a bit more serious than not saying we're not serious at the Love Lounge, but the Love Lounge is a happy party. It's a lounge of Spurs fans, and we love it. But great stream. We got to talk about the players that we want to talk about, that we're looking at, and hopefully get we get those guys in.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet Dyer is, yeah, Dyer. I think Dyer does actually gets in. I will say that. Um, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
He-
Uh,
He's been good. He's been good. We cannot say he's been good, but
yeah.
we need better. We need better. Come on, we know that.
But hit the like, subscribe. The guys who are watching, just spread the word on Tottenham away for Tottenham away, and then Mari from that Spurs episode. Just spread the word. Get likes and subscribe. I'm actually going to change the name of the channel. Just wisdom from other people's, like, make it shorter. So I'm still deciding what it's gonna be. It's probably Mari's gonna still be there. I don't know if it's gonna be Mari Spurs or Spurs Mari, or don't know, but I'm gonna shorten it. But please spread the word, and yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else, Iggy?
No, I'm looking forward now to January and what the transfer inbound and outbound what it bring, and I'd love to see how many that we would have liked to have come in have actually come in. Please, please, Levy, please don't let us
Please,
down, please.
please, 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 please,
It would be so
please.
important for the second half of the season if we can get.
Uh,
Okay, we got to help the manager. Let's hope. We can only pray and hope, and it'll be interesting to relook at this again at the end of January to see what's happening
yes,
then.
yeah, yeah,
Revisit all of this.
yeah.
That
If
would be
we already
awesome,
get that guy who's going
dude.
like this with his hands, I'll be happy.
Dude, dude. My shirt is ready. If
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get him,
It was a
I'm buying the
Vlahovic.
shirt straight away.
All right, then. I have for you fans, for you people. Come on, you Spurs!
Always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs!